right, so we're going to talk about areas of circles and sectors, which is 10.7. Okay, the first thing I want to do is just review with you area. Remember that the area formula is the portion that's inside of the circle. This is a shaded region here, and it is found by pi r squared. The formula for area is pi r squared. Yeah? So quickly, let's just go through a couple of area problems because we're going to talk about sectors, which you must have area mastered first. Okay? So when I look at this first one, I have 6 meters. Is that going to be a radius or a diameter? That's a diameter, okay? Now remember, we talked about this. When they put the measurement directly over the center point, it's going to be a diameter, okay? So how am I going to get the radius? The radius is going to be half of the diameter, right? So that means it's going to be what? 3, okay? So the area is going to be equal to pi 3 squared. And notice that it tells us to report our answers in terms of pi. So what's the area for number 7? 9 pi meters squared. Okay, now these units are squared because this is area, which is when we square the units. Okay. We look at number 8. Again, we've been given the measurement of 11 centimeters. This is going to be radius or diameter? Diameter. Okay, so if the diameter equals 11, then the radius is going to equal what? 11 over 2, which is what? 5.5. Okay, so we're going to say that the area is going to be equal to pi times r squared, which is 5.5 squared. Okay. Okay. So the area is going to be equal to 30.25 pi, remember in terms of pi, and then units would be what? Centimeters squared. Okay, how are we doing, guys? Good. Okay, last one. 1.7 is my diameter. Okay, so my radius is going to be 1.7 over 2, which becomes what? Zero 0.85 is correct. Area is going to be pi r squared, so 0.85 squared. Okay, so it looks like the area is going to be about what? Well, I did round, but don't forget your decimal too. Okay. Any questions on how to find area? No? Great. Okay, so the next step after we can find area is to find the area of the sector. Now notice when we did the arc length, we used a fraction or proportion out of 360 to find the portion of the circumference that we were speaking of, right? We're going to use that same process, only now we're going to use a proportion of the area, okay? So if you look at this one, we have 45 degrees. So I'm going to set that as 45 degrees over what? 360. And instead of multiplying by the circumference as we did in 10.6, we're going to multiply now by the area. Okay, so this would be pi 18 squared. Yeah? So you want to go ahead and plug that into your calculator. Okay, I got 81 over 2 pi, okay, which would be what? And then we would actually say yards what? Squared. Yeah? What do you think, guys? Could you do that? Number 16, we have a central angle of 30 degrees. So we'll say 30 degrees over 360 multiplied by pi 12 squared. Okay. Once I multiplied everything but pi, I ended up with 12. So my answer is 12 pi inches squared. Yeah? Could we do it? Excellent. Go ahead and practice with 14 through 17, and then we'll work 19 and 20 together. Okay, so let's look at 19 and 20 and see how we do this when we don't have an actual picture. Okay? So if you look at 19 and 20, you can say in 19, I have a radius of 5, and the arc that I'm looking for measures 90 degrees. So I'm going to set that up with 90 over 360, just like I did when I had the picture. And then I'm going to multiply it 5 squared, that's my radius squared, and pi. Okay, so that gives me 1/4 times 25 pi. So I get 25 pi over 4, or if you put it in decimal, it's 6.25. And I need to add meters squared. Make sure I have my units. Okay. Number 20, we have a radius of 6 and an arc measure of 15 degrees. So I'm going to set that up as 15 over 360. I'm going to multiply 6 squared times pi. Okay. I end up with 36 pi over 24. Could this be reduced, guys? Yes, it can. What could it be reduced to? 3 over 2. Okay. So the preferred answer for this one is going to be 3 pi over 2. Okay. Or if you divide 3 by 2, what do you get? 1.5 pi. And of course, I need to add my feet squared because this is area of the sector. So we are using squared units. Okay. All right. Any questions on how to do that one? Okay.